Chances are you've been giving compliments the wrong way your entire life. You probably say things like, "You're beautiful," or "You look stunning," or even, "You're so sexy." It sounds harmless, maybe even sweet, but if she's heard it 1,000 times from other men, she forgets it 5 minutes later. So why would your words be any different? They aren't. Because real attraction doesn't spark from flattery. It sparks from exposure. See, most men are too afraid to create that kind of tension. They stick to surface-level praise. But those kinds of compliments don't stay with her. What does stay is the one that slips past her defenses, the one that bypasses her mirror and touches something deeper, her awareness. That kind of compliment doesn't just flatter, it unsettles, it makes her pause, it makes her question you, question herself, and wonder what's happening between you two. That's not flattery, that's influence. And that's exactly where we're going today. Because there are compliments most men never think to say. But when you do say them, she won't be able to stop replaying them in her mind, even long after you've left. Let's start with the most common one. You're beautiful. On the surface, it sounds respectful, maybe even romantic. But here's the issue. It's predictable. She's heard it from men she liked, men she didn't like, and men who couldn't even hold eye contact. It doesn't feel special. It doesn't feel personal. It's background noise, like wallpaper. And if your goal is to blend in with every other guy she's forgotten, by all means, keep using it. But if your goal is to move her, that's not how you do it. When you say you're beautiful, all you're doing is echoing what her reflection already told her this morning. You're not bringing her anything new. You're not creating emotion or tension. You're simply confirming the obvious. And the obvious doesn't seduce, it disappears. So if you want to leave a mark, don't tell her what she already knows. Tell her what her beauty does to you. That single shift changes everything. Try this instead. There's something dangerous about the way you look at me. Now notice the effect. That compliment isn't about her features. It's about the impact she has. You've taken simple admiration and transformed it into tension. You've made it about the space between you. The energy that's rising. That's how polarity is created. That's what gets remembered. What truly leaves an impression on her isn't just what you see, it's how you respond to it. That's what she remembers. Your imagination, your perception. For example, say this: "I can't decide if you're a mystery I want to solve or something I want to get lost in." Now, you're not just pointing out her appearance, you're sharing how she makes you feel. You're expressing your emotional reaction to her presence. That hits deeper. It's psychological. Because women don't fall for a man just because he calls them pretty. They fall when you show them that you see something in them. Something most men either overlook or are too afraid to say out loud. Want to take it even further? Try this. You carry beauty like it doesn't even matter to you. That's rare. That does more than compliment how she looks. It reflects how she carries herself, how she wears her beauty with indifference, like it's not the center of her identity. That's power, because now you're not reacting to what's obvious. You're responding to something deeper. Not what's on display, but the presence behind it. And that's where real attraction grows, when she feels seen, not just scanned. Let's break this down even more clearly. There are 3 kinds of compliments men tend to give. Type 1, the safe compliment. You're beautiful, you look nice, it's polite and predictable. Type 2, the sexy compliment. There's something about the way you move. These create tension, they pull her into the moment. Type 3, the psychological compliment. You carry yourself like you already know how this ends. These don't just land, they linger. They don't just get heard, they're felt. And here's the shift most men never make. When you stop chasing her reaction and start expressing your real experience of her, everything changes. Most men won't go that deep. They either don't know how, or they lack the presence and grounded energy to deliver it with weight. But you're not like most men. You're learning how to speak to her instinct, not just stroke her ego. And that kind of energy, it slices through the noise. But remember this, words alone aren't enough. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Words by themselves don't create the impact. Your delivery does. You don't speak these lines just to get a reaction. You speak them because they're true. Because you're grounded enough to express what most people hide. And that, right there, is what separates a man who merely gives compliments from a man who leaves a mark. So ask yourself this. Have you ever said something that made her stop and really look at you? That moment where her gaze lingers just a little longer than expected? Because when your words hit both her mind and her body, that's when everything shifts. Most men only aim for one or the other. They say things like, "You look sexy," and assume it's enough. Or they go the other way with, "You're really smart, but the spark's just not there." But women? They're wired to crave the union, the blend of mental stimulation and physical intrigue. When you give her both, she leans in, she wants more. Try this. You move like you know exactly what you're doing, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't thinking about it. The first half? That's observation. It's not surface-level praise, it's real awareness. The second half? That's tension. It's bold, it's honest, it's personal, and it leaves her wondering, what exactly were you thinking about? That's the switch. That's when attraction becomes undeniable. Here's another. The way you sit still with that much confidence, it's distracting. Now you're not complimenting her body, you're acknowledging her presence, her composure, her command. Most men, they're looking for curves. You're noticing something deeper, how she carries herself, and that stays with her. Let's go even further. You want a compliment that sends chills down her spine? Say this. You're the kind of woman who knows when to speak and when to stay silent. That one? It's more than seductive. It's dangerous, because it praises something she values, but rarely gets seen for: her restraint, her power, her inner compass. It strikes a chord beauty never could. But here's the truth. None of this matters if you say it like a boy trying to sound clever. The power is in the stillness, the grounded confidence. You don't say these things to impress. You say them because they're real, because they cost you nothing, but mean everything. That's when she feels it. That's when you become an experience, not just another man with smooth lines. Have you ever looked into a woman's eyes and said something that made her body pause before her mind even caught up? That's how you know it landed. That's the space where real connection lives. And if you haven't had that moment yet, don't worry. It's coming. Because what you're about to learn next is the kind of compliment most men are too afraid to say. But when you do, she'll never forget it. Let's flip the script. Most men compliment the light. They say, "You're sweet, you're charming, you're fun, safe, predictable, boring." But real attraction, it happens when you compliment the shadow, the edge, the part of her she hides from the world. And when you show her that you see it and that you want it, that's when she feels safe enough to be all of herself around you. Try this line. "There's something dangerous about you. I don't know if I should lean in or run." You didn't say she's pretty. You didn't call her hot. What you did was acknowledge something deeper, that pull she has, that part of her that excites you, maybe even unsettles you a little. And that flips a switch in her. It touches the part of her she's been told to tone down, to soften. You don't just admire her strength, you're drawn to it. You crave it. And that's real power. Here's another example. You've got the kind of energy that doesn't ask for space, it takes it. You're not complimenting her for being nice or sweet. You're acknowledging the command she carries and naming it out loud. And when you do that, you immediately set yourself apart from every man who plays it safe. That's the moment she stops performing. That's the moment she starts revealing. Because you're not intimidated by her truth. You're not afraid of what most men avoid. Why does this kind of compliment hit so hard? Because it's taboo. Because it's honest. Because it's rare. You're saying, "I see the part of you most people pretend not to, and I like it." That's not validation, that's liberation. And when you offer a woman the space to be raw, wild, even chaotic without flinching, without judgment, you become unforgettable. But here's the catch. Don't fake it. Don't use this as some pickup line or strategy. If you don't mean it, if it doesn't come from truth, it falls flat. But when you say it with grounded presence, with masculine calm, it lands. Because she can feel when she's actually being seen. And if you see her darkness and don't back away, she remembers you. Not because you were trying to sound deep, but because you weren't trying at all. You were just honest. Here's a perfect one to use on a first date. "You've got a little chaos in your eyes, and I think that might be my favorite part." That line, it's not sweet, it's not polite, it's personal, it's intimate, and that, more than anything, is what she's craving. A man who sees what she doesn't show, who wants the version of her that most men would rather avoid. So let me ask you, have you ever said something that made her pause? Not because it was romantic, but because it was real? If you have, drop a line in the comments. I said the dangerous thing. Because when you cross that invisible line with calm confidence, she doesn't pull away. She leans in.